Hey everybody, this is Donna from Yoga in My School, and this is the Yoga in My School podcast. We're here today with an expert panel of amazing talent and awesomeness today as we discuss COVID-19 and all of the implications that it has for kids yoga businesses and kids yoga practitioners and all of that kind of loveliness. So I have three incredible people joining me today. We've got Lani Rosen-Gallagher from Full of Joy Yoga. We've got Shari Vilchez-Blatt of Karma Kids Yoga, and we have Mary Burton from Zensational Kids. So welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I've noticed over the last few days as kind of North America went into quarantine and we all started practicing social distancing, that all of your organizations and yourselves are doing really incredible things to reach people and to maintain that sense of connection. And so what I'd like you to do is we're going to go through everybody and give us a little rundown of who you are and what you do and what you have been doing, some of the interesting things or the crash course that you've taken to get things online. So why don't we start with Lani?
Hi. Okay, my name's Lani Rosen-Gallagher. I live in New Haven, Connecticut, and I actually have two organizations. One is Full of Joy Yoga, which is my preschool classes and my teacher trainings, and then Mindful Yoga Breaks, which is where I do curriculum in the schools in this school day. And so as soon as I lost lots of classes and workshops and trainings that were all supposed to happen in the last few weeks, and upcoming, like this week, today I was supposed to be in New Jersey doing a workshop with teachers. I realized, okay, so what can I do virtually? And I've actually been practicing this for a while now, doing my Free Your Mind Friday. Every Friday I've been giving tips and little tools. And so I realized, you know what, let me just continue that and keep it going. And so I decided to spontaneously offer 2 classes a day on this platform I'm using called Crowdcast. So I'm doing a preschool yoga class every morning, and then in the afternoon, my son Zephyr and I do a class together for all ages, family yoga. And we've been doing it all week, and I decided to do it as a donation model where 50% of the proceeds are going to, this week it'll be the Connecticut Food Bank, because I know that is an organization that really is helping in Connecticut right now for families who are going to need food. So the 50% donation model is working so far, where people are actually donating, and I'm able to make some money for my time, but I'm also able to donate. I'm still reevaluating how it's going to go, and I want to incorporate some mindful yoga break stuff for schools. So I'm going to start contacting all my schools and see what they want to offer. And one of my preschools is going to have me do some private ones online for their families. So that's all in the works. With the yoga studio where I teach, I'll be doing their virtual classes. So I'll go there on Saturday and to the studio and do my family yoga there with them. So this is what I'm doing, trying to offer to as many people all over the world. So I had people from Italy and other countries registering and tuning in, which has been really, really cool to be able to offer this experience to people everywhere. And I think that our industry and the fitness industry, where we're always working on our own private communities and building up our own communities, now we're taking it to the global community, which is very exciting that we can offer our services all over the world at this point because of this, where I felt like I was, impacting my little local community daily. But now look at this, we can impact the entire world, which, oh my God, it's gonna make me cry even just saying it. So.
That's awesome. Thanks so much, Lani. What about you, Shari? What are you doing?
It's so funny, Lani, because that's my experience too. All of the sudden, we're hearing from Chile and Brazil and Italy and France and all over the world, Singapore. Anyway, I'm Shari from Karma Kids Yoga. We have just been, I feel like, thrown into a whole new world because I'm very in person kind of teacher, and to teach like this was a big learning curve for me, especially getting the technology down. So what we've been doing we started with live Instagram stories. So we were giving everything free as an effort to chill everyone out, give parents something for their kids to do, just really to be supportive, realizing, oh my God, this is an incredible reality, and it's never experienced this before. So what can I do? Upon, just trying this at home, there are a lot of hiccups. I have my daughter who's pretty tech savvy helping me, and we started just with Instagram live story and noting when the classes were, and then we were bombarded with hey, I went online, where were you? And then it became time zone. Like, I didn't even think of a time zone. So that became really interesting. Okay, well, I've got to note Eastern Standard Time. And then we were like, well, what about the people missing it? So I started to think, do I do a 6 a.m. class? Do I do a 9 p.m. class? And we're considering all these things still. But anyone that was missing it, I was feeling the disappointment. So then we scrambled to get it up on YouTube, and just like figuring out all the technology. We've had some hiccups, but I think we got it down pretty okay. Every day's a new adventure. But everything that we've been offering so far this week, we started Monday, has been free to the community. And people have been very grateful and have reached out to say, let me send you some money. And I actually felt a little weird and awkward about that, of like, hey, this was free and I wasn't looking for money. But I'm also watching my bank account deplete really fast. We had planned before we closed last Thursday. Maybe even Wednesday. And we had planned, because school was still open then, to work with the schools remotely. But now that all of our schools are closed, that's not exactly that same option. So suddenly losing all that business from all our schools is I'm feeling it. Schools are still reaching out so that they can share our info to their community, which is I'm grateful for. But I still I don't know if you guys experience this, but not all schools pay quickly, and then I still have money due from like a couple of months ago, and the bills aren't paid, and I don't necessarily foresee them going into the schools to pay their vendors. I'm a little worried. So we're still going to do free classes because I want to keep that up. I've been doing 3 a day, trying to break up the age groups and the times a little bit, and then offer something fun on the weekends. But we're going to still do that, but maybe not 3 a day. Maybe I'll do 1 or 2, but we're going to start paid classes next week on Zoom, making it affordable for all and taking all the time zones into consideration. I also had a workshop planned. I still have a workshop planned for tomorrow, and luckily it's a short one, which I can do via Skype. But all my teacher trainings that were planned, I'm quite concerned. I don't know that I can do my full 30-hour course in a Skype format, because how do you do a group pose?
Yeah.
So
there's some serious logistical concerns that everybody is working around, and it's
I'm in the
evolving.
Same boat. I'm supposed to do one right now.
I also have a lot of teachers on my staff that I'm worried about, and I want to give them as much work as possible. So we've been doing Skyped privates with people that know us, and thinking, because we're doing all this free stuff, people we don't know starting to get to know, well, they're starting to get to know me, but hopefully they'll say, oh, let's do something private. Let's connect with teachers that we like. So I'm trying to still offer my teachers an opportunity to do some work. It kind of feels like everyone, do what you got to do to pay the bills. And it's scary. But like I said, teaching's keeping me sane and playful and happy and just kind of surrendered to this whole situation.
Fabulous. Thank you, Shari. That's, you're so honest and you're so upfront with it, that I think that's really going to resonate with a lot of people in the kids yoga community and kids yoga business owners, that they're just like, how the heck am I going to pay bills? How am I going to keep
scary?
And it is a little scary. And I think we do need to recognize that even in the midst of the goodness and the offering of free and please, let's just calm down, let's connect, let's look for the good here. But there are some serious logistical issues as well, just the technology, as well as running your business. So thank you. I really appreciate that. Mary, tell us a little bit about what Zensational Kids is doing.
Yeah, so Sensational Kids, we found much of the same of what you're saying. We had tons of trainings planned to finish out this year, of course, which have all been canceled. And, Allison, the founder of Sensational Kids, is, balancing the support for those of us who work for her with also, and the needs from that with what the world needs. And we really just got on the phone right away once we did our own practice. And that's something that we're really good at, I think, is that we sit with all of these things for a while, and then we ask, what does the world need from us right now? And as hard as it is not to look at that bottom line and what all of that means, as some of everyone was saying, it's also just trusting that process of what does the world need right now from us. And so what we've been doing, the school district started calling right away that we were working with and deciding, will we postpone to the fall, or how can we make this work? And some of them were really open and very creative on how we can continue to service them. So some we are still doing that virtually, of course. And then, we took that more into the public realm. So we've been scheduling some online calls, group calls, and we had, hundreds of people, as you were saying, like come from all over the US so far to sign up for these calls with Allison about just how to parent at home while you're also the classroom, and some of the other things that are really challenging both educators and parents right now, and the whole school system itself. So offering that, we had a call this morning that was very well received. It went great. And what we realized, again, and what we always need to remember, I think those of us who are in the business so much, is that this is not what people are doing every day. So when we give them the opportunity to come into these practices, I just see this, and I know Allison does too, as a wonderful opportunity to share with a larger audience like how these practices really serve us and can really serve us. So we're just really looking forward to getting that out there in that way, working both with educators and parents and students. So we're putting together some little videos to drop and things like that in the next few weeks. And just to speak to the economics of it, right now it's just serving the communities, of course, that we've been in contract with and worked with over the years, but also growing that community and just trusting in that when we all come out of this, as we all will, stronger and more connected in ways that that we might not have been had this not all happened. So that's what we're doing. We're doing some online pieces, and we're looking, it's every day we talk more about, what the possibilities are, and we also see what people are asking from us, and then we just try to meet that.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it is. It's very dynamic. It changes quickly, as we have seen, like every day. Like literally just rolling things out. And it's just kind of that waiting game. It's like, okay, what am I going to do today that can help me, that can nourish me, so that I can then give to others, and what is needed for them, and just that sense of connection and feelings of safety right now. And it's going to be all right. We are going to get through this. And as Mary said, there's going to be more connections and more understanding, and everyone's going to kind of know what priorities are, and to hold those things safe and sacred in your heart that are the most important. So awesome. All right. So how many of you have had a crash course? I know Shari mentioned this. I've had a crash course in technology in the last few days.
Well, I have to say that
like
I've been doing this
before your class.
I've been doing this webinar for the last few weeks, so I've had to adjust. So I redid my entire front room for this webinar because I knew I was going to be online for it. And so I was like, thank God I fixed this up for this a couple weeks prior.
When you say front room, do you mean like in your home, or is front room a term that I just don't know yet?
No, in my apartment. It's like the office space where my husband and I both have our desk and our office. And it was a disaster because it had all my props, everything like that I need, because I live in a small apartment. And I was like, I need to make my front room look like professional so I can video myself, because I'm doing those Free Your Mind Fridays videoing, and I'm always surrounded by disaster. So I redid everything, and it really helped my own mental state and my brain to be able to say, okay, this is my space. It feels really good now.
Are you keeping that space when you're not teaching?
Well, now, like,
Put it
so
all
my
back.
husband's in that front space right now because he's working from home. So we're
We're doing-
sharing this space. And then I had to redo it for like Zephyr and I to be able to do our classes. But I'm like constantly getting up and adjusting the camera so you can see my body because it's not big enough to have it far enough away so you can see me teaching yoga. So I'm like,
struggle
sorry
is so
guys,
real.
I'm burning it, and that's what I'm doing. And I'm like, oh, and I have the camera, and it's attached to a tripod, and it's taped, and
But is someone
my
monitoring that camera for you, or are you?
no, it's
Oh,
just
so I got
taped to a
Layla who
tripod.
will give me cues of like, you're not centered. And so
Oh,
I'm like
no.
in the middle of teaching and then doing a frog jump over to the side. Like, oh
I don't
my
have anybody
goodness.
recording me. No, so I'm like adjusting it. And Zephyr and I are on this mat, and it's a small little space. And I'm like, I have to fix this space. But then I feel like I don't have time because I'm like doing 2 classes a day. The technology it's tricky.
It is
Getting
tricky.
better every day though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I
It's
feel like the
been
weekend
fun
I'll
to
have the
see-
time to adjust.
It's been really fun
I
to
lost
see.
Mary.
There she's
There she
back. It's been fun to see people, lots of people doing, this is my first Instagram TV live. I have no idea what I'm doing. All that kind of stuff.
I
love-
literally just did my first Facebook Live before this came on today. I was like, oh.
I've been
At the
luckily
end of the
practicing
month,
that
we'll
for
be
months,
such
like I knew.
pros. We'll be such pros at it by the end of the month. Even the end of the week,
Yep.
maybe.
And I find that I move furniture a lot more. Right? It's like this table's
My
got to go.
dog has
And
been
then
getting involved.
and so the table needs to come back. And my
Oh
husband's
yeah.
like, you know what?
Yeah.
You need to set up your studio and film a whole bunch on the same day. Just get them out. Change your shirt and do your hair differently. And we're going to just produce videos on one day. And then we can move the furniture back.
And then
But mine are live and then
Yeah.
recorded. So I'm doing like a
Same.
10 a.m. and a 3 p.m. live, but they are instantly recorded through
Yeah.
Crowdcast so people can watch them anytime.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
same
that's
with
what I
ours.
like about it. And then I'm putting them on my website too and on YouTube. So like there's
Every
many
time I
options.
do that, there's like this 5 minutes of nervousness of will it upload? Did it really? Because we're running into like, oh, for whatever reason, it did not save. And so, and then if your screen goes blank, at least on YouTube, what we've experienced, if your screen goes blank, like, because it's been resting, it will just go back to 0 on the upload. So that 5 minutes after is like, did it get there? And what if it didn't? What are we going to do about this? The saving of it is, so I'm still like crossing fingers every time, and hopefully I'll get to the point where we won't have that.
Okay,
Yeah.
now this is a question that's come up in a chat group. It's and so this is a question. So some people have been asking, does your insurance cover your participants in live feeds, right? And
I'm going to write that down and look into that.
Well, there was a question I saw about waivers too. Like, are you making people sign waivers? But like, we take yoga with Adrian. Like, I do all those online videos like on YouTube all the time. Like, I don't think it's even possible.
Oh, YouTube? No, it's not possible.
Right?
But if you,
and so
it's a
that's
good
what
question.
That is a great
question,
question.
right? And so any
What
in
happens?
the insurance industry who's listening or watching, get back to all these fitness people. Like, yeah, we know YouTube, a lot of people will have a disclaimer in front of their thing, that type of thing. But for like Zoom classes and these privates that we're organizing for schools and for, for our.
Well, the privates are more private. You can definitely get a waiver.
Yeah.
But when you offer something to the masses, on our YouTube channel, like I've had videos posted for years.
Yeah.
You know, I never thought, I verbally will give, try it, don't try it, take the challenge, don't take the challenge. But, if someone decides to ram their head into the wall while I'm teaching, am I responsible for my YouTube video? I don't know. I got to look in. I think it's a good idea to look into with our teaching insurance. I use Philadelphia insurance.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I'll let you know.
Find out
just some things to consider, right? And
it's
I
important
hadn't
to
considered it because I was working off of the premise that you watch something on YouTube, you watch a video, buyer beware, be responsible for yourself. But it is something to consider. I don't have an answer for you. I just have a question.
I don't have an answer.
We'll look into it.
Right. Now,
Yeah.
Mary, and maybe all three of you, because you're all doing this, how are you reaching out to your schools and to, because that's a big part of any kids yoga business. You know, we can do these things for free and the live ones and all that kind of stuff, but what's happening on the school side of things? Like, what are you setting up?
I haven't done anything yet, and I'm waiting because I feel like this week they're still figuring out their
Yeah.
life and everything. And so I was going to give it a little bit of time and see, and then contact all the principals when things are like,
Yeah.
you know, when they're in a groove, I guess, when they've have everything else figured out, and then find out what they need from me, how I can service them. That was my plan. I think this week it was like, my stuff is extra that they're not ready to talk about yet.
I like that
Yeah.
answer. What do you?
I've been from the mom standpoint, I'm very involved in my daughter's school, so I'm privy to their communications. And it's kind of like being on a fly on the wall during like important conversations. I know her school happens to be far ahead. They've been kind of planning for this just in case. But I see within their communications, they're like, you know, gym is still part of the curriculum. Like, we need to figure this out. So just like Lani said, I figured I'd give them time. They also know where to reach me. A lot of our schools, we also have our social media connection. We follow each other, we support each other and likes and stuff like that. But they have been seeing our schools have been seeing what we're doing and sharing with their families on their own. Like, so that's been really nice. I also feel they know where to reach us when they need to. But phys ed is needed, and the gym teacher, I don't know what their plans are for doing something like that. I kind of feel like yoga makes the most sense, and I'm not just saying that because we all teach yoga, but you know, soccer, how are you going to do that? You know, golf, basketball in your house, like yoga makes some sense here. You know, so does like other fitness kind of things that you can use your body for, but there's going to be a need. And I think we can be there for them. How to get that out to schools. I think we got to just keep on posting on social media. Teachers will become aware. Teachers, if you, there's so many great teacher Instagram things to follow. Teachers pay teachers, teachers follow teachers, bad teachers, all kinds of fun stuff. They have the best memes, by the way, some of the funniest stuff ever. But to, you know, stay in touch with them and let them know, like, hey, use me as a access me, whether it's a private, or even if, you know, there are a lot of schools that can't afford this, and that's where the money factor comes in. So when we do start charging for some of our public classes, we're keeping the price point really low. We have free stuff too. You know, I realize we have to be sensitive to that. I don't know what happens to schools' budgets, if they're willing to pay or if they have the money to pay. I'd still like to support when I can. So if it means like you guys are doing videos that we already have recorded, okay, remember us, remember Karma Kids, and maybe in the future we can do something together. So I'm looking at it as like global community building. You know, why couldn't Lani help a school in Sweden, and I help a school in Singapore, and Mary works with a school in California?
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my God, how great.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
And I love that
I
you're
think it can
talking
get
long
funny
game.
with different types of with different time zones. You know, can be creative.
Yeah, I love that you're talking long game too. It's like right now a lot of people are really
Day-to-day.
micro looking, you know, they're looking at how am I going to get through the next hour with my children at home? How am I going to get through the next day? How do I do this? And it's like, okay, let's just take a breath. Let's sit back, you know, and be here and think about what we can offer today and plant seeds for this long game. All right. Mary, how about you guys?
So I just want to touch on that a moment, though. I think that's really good, because what you said about phys ed, or how we can service the school, ways that they think of things that we do are different than what we have to offer. So even reaching out and saying, how are you meeting the needs of phys ed or social emotional or those sorts of things is a great way to, you know, maybe expand that and also give more understanding to what we can offer. Most of our schools, the districts we've been working with, of course, called in right away and, you know, wanted to know how we could support them or shift or move things. And so those, you know, those conversations happened really early. But what we're thinking about now too is that long game of what we're offering now for free and how that will build out, and using social media, of course, and all these wonderful connections, I think is just going to grow for all of us. So I really love that. Yeah. And what we're doing is, as we do these live calls, then we'll be able to record them and hopefully go back to some of the districts that we've even worked with before, and some of those that are kind of in the queue, and say, here's what we've done during this break, and share that information out. I mean, right away, one of the states that we work with, mandated and said, we still are expecting the school systems to meet the requirements of social emotional learning and those types of things. The addressing the needs of special needs kids is what I'm trying to say, and so just making sure that they're all covered. And so now we have the opportunity to reach back out to the schools and say, how are you? How are you servicing that, and can we help? So.
Yes. All right, you ladies, can you please inform our listeners where they can find all of your goodness that you're spreading to the world? Let's start with Mary. Let's go backwards. So let's start with Mary.
So of course we have a strong presence on social media, Instagram and Facebook at Zensational Kids, as well as the website, sensationalkids.com. We also are partnered with several other communities through there. So the Choose Love Foundation is one of the communities that Allison also is connected with, and there's a lot of free resources there. But you can find all of our goodness and our good stuff at sensationalkids.com.
Fabulous. Thanks. Shari.
Thank you.
You can find Karma Kids Yoga on Instagram. Our YouTube channel is Karma Kids Yoga. We're also on Facebook, Twitter, but we don't really do much on Twitter. The word Twitter just gives me anxiety, makes me stressed. But probably one of the best places to go is our website, karmakidsyoga.com, where you'll see our most up-to-date schedule, free classes, paid classes, private options, all that kind of stuff. But we are doing the most on Instagram and YouTube right now. I don't do too much on Facebook, and website's probably the best way.
Okay, Lani.
So you can find me fullofjoyyoga.com, and I have a page on there now, a new page with all the online stuff that I'm doing. And so then I'm also putting all that. I have a YouTube channel with all of the videos as well. And Mindful Yoga Breaks is my other organization, but you can get them all through Full of Joy Yoga, and I'm on all of the social media. You can find me, and it has all the stuff I'm doing up to date. I'm going to keep updating that online class page as things progress, and that's that.
Right. Ladies, thank you so much. And of course, Yoga in My School is doing fun things. I'm doing one class a day, but I have a variety of students. Everything I teach from 6 months to 90. Why not? And so I think today we're going to be doing like a slow hips class, because
I need hips.
I know
my hips are.
And yesterday I did a chair yoga class, which is great for students, anyone working from home. St. Patrick's Day was a St. Patrick's Day class. So those you can find on YouTube and Facebook. And then on Instagram, I'm doing short little mindfulness meditations. So kind of something a little bit different depending on the format, because everybody likes something different.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's some of the offerings that Yoga in My School and myself are giving out there. And of course, doing all the same things that you guys are doing. And I so thank you for your time, your expertise, and your hearts. Like, you guys are absolutely awesome.
Thanks for having us.
This was great.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thanks for listening. If you found something of value today, it is tremendous if you would share it. If somebody came to mind that you think this would be of value to, share it with them. Give some likes, give some shares, give some comments. We love all that. Like, we need connection, people.
Yeah.
And find myself, Donna Freeman. I'm at Donna K. Freeman on Instagram, and the podcast is at Yoga in My School Podcast. There you go. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Stay safe. Stay well.
Bye.
Namaste.
Bye.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you, everybody.